Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video, a little bit of a new camera setup here using a tripod, so bear with me. Eyes will be on the screen to actually walk you guys through this video. Doesn't really matter where else will be, the value will be shown either way. Now, in today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through exactly how you can sign your first client under 30 days. I did this myself back a few months ago. I'll give you guys a quick rundown. But today's video is about signing your first initial client as a online service based business, right? It's quite a lot easier than you think. No like AI client service bullshit, anything like that. We keep it simple here. Want to keep it straightforward as well. Now, before I started the agency, I currently run myself right now. I had a different agency while I was still in high school. So I used to work with bathroom remodeling companies. And as you guys already know right now, and if you're new to this video, I work with realtors. So I work with real estate agents. Now, I worked super hard and I stayed in the trenches every single day. Right now, every working hour that I had, I spent working on the business, right? So we're talking literally calling, right? And I remember that I literally signed my first client for a whopping, you guys are going to be surprised, $600. That is the price that I signed my first client on. $600, that was all it is. Now, um, the thing is that keep in mind, not having made any money online before, other than selling a few clothes here and there, I used to sell custom watches here and there. So I'm used to like kind of selling stuff online, like clothes and stuff like that, but nothing online, nothing where I literally exchange my service and value to someone else or someone else's business and get money in exchange for that. I had never done that before. I didn't even know. Obviously, I knew it was possible because everybody online was doing it, but I just hadn't seen myself do that before. So I just didn't know if that was something that I myself could even do. Now, in terms of that, the first thing that I did is I went ahead and did a lot of calls, right? That's the main thing you guys want to do. There's nothing else on it specifically, other than just going into the trenches. I remember when I used to do it, I spent maybe I used to come home from school around like 3, 4 p.m., which was Europe time, Norway time, which was maybe around like EST, early 8 in the morning. I used to call literally 5 hours every single day. That is the window that I had. I used to also go to the gym, so I wanted to make sure that my life was still operating as it's supposed to. But I still spent every single working hour just on outreach, specifically on calls. And I'm going to walk you guys through why calls is the main thing that I want you guys to do as well. It is literally the biggest needle mover in any significant niche or business you're doing. If you're doing something service based, calling is the best thing you can do, which I'm going to cover with you guys in a second. Now, for the first time for me, exchanging literally my time and the value I provide for money, me being able to provide someone else's business value, literally just changed everything. Someone from the US, someone based multiple thousands of miles away from me, paid me $600 over the phone, obviously over a conversation. I never showed my face, even. That's how new this was for me, paid me in exchange for something I was gonna offer them. Keep in mind, I was how many? I was 18 years old. I wasn't even that old. I was 18 years old. I'm 19 now, and I'm still living with my parents. I lived with my parents, literally in my room where I used to game, play Fortnite, all this. I made $600 online. Now, keep in mind, obviously, $600 is not a lot, right? But also, this really just changed my mindset and my paradigm on money and making it online essentially from the get go, right? I always thought it was possible to make money online, but like most of you, obviously subconsciously, I didn't really believe it until it happened. And that's kind of the one thing that people don't really talk a lot about. Everybody says that yes, making money online is this, that, but nothing beats the feeling when you get your first paycheck and you get your first Stripe little notification of that you got paid. You're just never going to forget that. It's just one of those key highlights. Um, Now, keep in mind, this guy ended up paying me a little bit more as well. So he ended up paying me a total of, if I remember correctly, anywhere between, we'll say 850, because I believe it was between 800 to 900 because it was a pay per appointment model. So I charged him $600 up front for however long we were going to work together. And then I charged him 125 per appointment. I booked him 2 appointments because honestly, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. But that aside, I signed that client and I made $850, right, in just 1 month. Now, maybe you're expecting to hear that I used obviously some crazy methods and did some crazy strategy, but honestly, it's very simple. It's kind of what I talked about. It's just simply just to call them, right? Call these businesses and speak to them, right? As mentioned, I spent a lot of my time doing this, and within just, I remember 27 days of doing this, it was literally February 2025. had one client side. Now it's really that simple. Like when you're starting out, right? You don't have enough money to leverage money. You only have enough time. Now, even if your time is limited, that is the only thing that you have. Because even if you did leverage money, it wouldn't make sense because you don't know what you're supposed to do in the back end. Let's say, for example, you had a pot of $3,000 every single month that you could push into advertisement. Well, there wouldn't be any point because you haven't spent the time learning the skills you need to do to be able to push advertising and actually close those deals. You would essentially be burning money. You'd be essentially putting fire to something that is not able to scale, which is going to be an issue in the back end further down the road, right? Which is something you really just want to steer away from. Therefore, you want to leverage your time. You want to stick into the trenches. Anybody, even if you do have money, don't push money into making it because what you're going to learn through those calls and through that outreach and through that hard work is literally going to form you and become that character. You're going to become the person that is able to achieve those goals that you want to achieve, which you wouldn't be able to do if you're just learning by spending and wasting money. And obviously, you don't want to waste money, right? Now, with that said, you can't really skip steps, right? You can't really skip steps to success. If you're going to look at success on like a time frame, it's always yourself. It's the trench journey where everybody just goes through that. Whoever is successful, they've been through a trenches journey, right? Then right after that, it is where you hit the success, right? And you kind of have to go through that again to be able to become the person that is willing and able to actually um, make yourself successful and actually keep that success in your life. That is the main point. No, it's honestly where you learn the most, right? The only thing that you can leverage is literally your time. Why? Because you obviously there's finite amount of time. You don't have a lot. You don't have a limited amount of time. Every single second that you spend on something else other than what is the most ROI positive for your business is essentially a waste to your business, is essentially a waste, right? Now, with that in mind, obviously, time is the thing that you have. When you get to 100 mil a month, obviously money is your most valuable thing. Obviously time is still valuable, but money is what you can leverage then because your time is worth a lot more. Right now your time isn't worth a lot more, so leverage it to be able to get those clients and keep calling, right? Spend all of your time calling these people, right? Literally this phone, if this if this is a phone, literally call these people. I'm trying to create these like connection dots. Call them, pick up the phone and start dialing. That's what they say in Wolf of Wall Street. If you really need motivation, turn that movie on, watch it, and call right after. Forget all the other productive shit, right? Mindset training, reading books, YouTube podcasts. Come on, you're a straight male. You're not gay, right? Obviously, I'm probably going to be, if you listen to this in about a few years, just don't cancel me for that. I don't mean anything harm. But literally, you can do this. Come on, it's not that hard. Call these people, right? Face it. Don't be a bitch, right? And if you're spending your time doing literally anything else other than calling, you are literally wasting your time, right? Every single one conversation that you have is one conversation closer to a actual close and closer to your actual like money being made in your first client. There's been multiple times where I literally have cold called people on a freaking Wednesday, spoke with them on a Friday, and gotten paid that same day. Isn't that crazy? Like, what other way could you do that? Like, what other way could you literally call someone on a Wednesday and get paid 4 grand literally 2 days after in lifetime value? Isn't that just crazy? That's just something that you really just can't do. It's very difficult in other industries and in other ways and forms of doing outreach and reaching out to people. But through calls, you can literally do that. It's very possible, and I've done that myself personally multiple times. I still do it till today, right? So stop wasting your time. And it's literally just as simple as that. I used to scrape down leads and then manually call them through Skype, which I obviously don't. I just don't recommend it right now. You can use other softwares, Call Hippo, Just Call, Kixi. There's multiple of them. If you have a little bit money, if you're able to spend maybe 200-300 bucks a month, which is a little bit on the far end side of things, especially when you're starting out. But if you do have that, you can leverage that into a parallel dialer and call more people, essentially be as productive as you are with one person calling. If you guys need a complete walkthrough on that and how to call and how to do these leads, do let me know and I'll add that into a new video that I'm going to film, and then we'll be able to talk about that as well. But just rip dials. Right, just rip dials 300 to 500 a day. And I swear I used to do this even when I had school, even when I had exams, even when I had to work. Obviously, to be honest, when I signed my first client, I just kind of stopped because I broke that limiting belief of being able to have my first client. So I started focusing on my exams. I kind of put the agency away, and then I started right after my exams as well. And that was a good point as well because making that $850 online in my first month, I was able to show my parents that, you know what, this is possible. And because of that, I was able to take a gap year, and here I am today with my agency, right? So it's crazy how things work, but just do those dials, do exactly what you're supposed to do. If you're doing 300 to 500 dials a day, there's absolutely no way that you don't sign your first client this way, right? You can even get to 10K per month easily this way. It's really not that hard. You just don't have to be a lazy bitch. That is what it is. And not only does calling get you to that first client, it actually um, makes you learn so much. Like I had one of my setters recently. It was 2 days ago. He reached out to me and he asked me, Haider, how do you become so confident and concise on calls? Like, how are you able to articulate yourself very well? Now, keep in mind, I don't think I'm that good at articulating myself. You could probably find it out throughout this video. There's some times where I'm able to articulate and be very concise with my words, but there's other points where I'm struggling, where I just take some time and I end up just not saying the correct phrase or the correct word that I'm supposed to say, right? I'm still in the learning phase, right? But the point is that it's funny because I took 2 minutes before I answered him and I told him, his name is Sadie. It doesn't really matter if I tell you guys his name. I told him, I'm like, bro, I haven't really thought about it myself, but it's a great question. So I spent 2 minutes, like kind of just thinking about it, and I came to this conclusion, which is a little bit crazy. Is the fact that I used to read, like I used to try to find books on how to articulate myself properly. I used to watch these Andrew Tate clips and podcasts about how to start articulating yourself properly, how to communicate well, because communication is one of the best and most important skills that you can have. And I remember just reading through this, and funnily enough, I didn't do any of them, right? I just kind of ended up just doing calls. And obviously now, after a few months and after just doing them consistently for hours and hours on end, I look back and it is actually the dials that made me get to the point where I'm today. And again, obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm still in the learning phase. I'm very much not where I want to be in terms of communication and being able to articulate myself. But at the end of the day, it is always a you versus you thing. And if I compare myself to when I started, I'm doing extremely well, well better than what I was when I was starting off, right? Now, I didn't do any of that. I just completely just kind of just did those calls, right? I just wrapped up those calls. And obviously now I can kind of see back, but me compared to even when I started, it's all from calling, right? Because when you call, right, there's this like you have to rapidly think. I try to well, lightning bolt. You have to rapidly think, right? You have to just think and come up with solutions and kind of things. That's why I never recommend creating scripts and stuff like that, because with scripts you are obliged to follow a specific wording, right? You always want to get back to a specific question or a specific frame. But with frameworks, you have to build it out yourself. So if someone asks a question, well, then all of a sudden you have to respond with another question, or you have to figure out what to say. You get very, very good at articulating yourself, and it even helps in your sales ability, right? Not only communication, but your sales ability. And at the end of the day, everything in life is sales. You're going to speak with a girl, that is sales. You got to convince her, why should she be with you and not anybody else? If you're going to buy something, there's sales. If you're going to sell something, it's sales. If you're going to buy a house, you're going to sell a house. Whatever it is, everything in life is sales, communication at the end of the day. So the point is that you're killing multiple birds with one stone. There's this saying, like, I think it's two birds with one stone, where you just throw one stone and you kill two birds. Well, here you're killing literally 10 birds, right? And I'm not even exaggerating. You're literally propelling your character development in a super, super efficient way. And there's not a lot of outreach methods and ways that you can initially do this, especially when you're starting out. Like your first year, you want to learn as much as you want, right? Focus on learning, remove the L later, right? Get to the earning later. You'll get the money, you'll become there. But if you become the person that is able to become the money, well, then, or become the person that is able to get the money, well, then you're going to get there a lot faster, right? So just, it's not even that hard, right? Just consistently call every single day. As I mentioned, just don't be lazy and you'll see success much faster than you initially thought. I can promise you that hand on heart, right? Maybe you thought that in this video that you were going to learn the newest essential AI model on how to initially call, how to reach out to people, how to do pretty much anything with AI. But unfortunately, it's not. Nothing about that. Nothing with AI in this video. It's just as simple as that, right? So if you're watching this video and you literally on can call someone. Right, wait, one challenge for you guys. If you're literally watching this video right now, call someone. Pause this video, call someone. And I know right now you're feeling the nerves. You're like, I don't want to do this, or I don't feel like doing it. Pause it. You shouldn't be listening to me speaking right now unless you're back from calling these people. Pause it, call them. Right? Go ahead and do that. Now, obviously, I'm not going to pause myself because you paused the video. Now, if you're watching this right now, great work. If you went ahead and called, it wasn't as scary as you thought, was it? You called them, they picked up. Yes, no, doesn't matter. You got that rejection out of your way. You were able to just kind of the resistance. You beat that. That is what the best feeling is, right? Now, if you are in a time zone where you can literally call, go ahead, call people, right? Don't procrastinate. Don't watch any other videos. Literally open your lead list and dial those numbers. Remember, at the end of the day, you owe it to yourself to be great. There's nobody that's going to go ahead and come in at this time and call you and make sure that your business gets the success that it receives. Nobody's going to do that for that, right? You owe it to yourself to be great. So make sure that you do your best every single day. Now get back to those calls. Peace out. Talk to you guys soon in the next video.